The laughter started softly, like distant ripples on a lake, but it grew sharper as it reached her. Lena felt her cheeks warm as three young recruits nudged each other, pointing at the small butterfly tattoo on her wrist. "Cute ink?" One of them snickered. "What's the story?" "Lost a dare?" Another added. "Maybe she thinks she's tougher than she looks." Lena pulled her sleeve down, but not fast enough. The laughter stung not because it was loud, but because it reminded her of everything she'd left behind. "Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening." She had come to the naval base to deliver documents for her civilian logistics job. It was supposed to be quick, in and out. No attention. But the recruits had a way of sniffing out vulnerability. And Lena, quiet, gentle, self-contained, felt her pulse hammer in her throat. She wasn't weak, just tired of being misunderstood. Then, a shift in the air. The hallway seemed to still. Conversations faded. Presenscum, heavy, steady, moved toward them like a tide coming in. Commander Mason Hale strode around the corner, his expression unreadable, his steps quiet but purposeful. Recruits straightened immediately, spines snapping into alignment. He wasn't just any officer, he was the SEAL commander. And when his gaze landed on Lena, he stopped walking. Completely, his eyes locked on her wrist. The one she instinctively hid behind her other hand. But he had seen it. The butterfly, small, delicate, the wings inked with tiny geometric lines, a symbol almost no one recognized, except him. The commander's jaw tightened, just slightly, but in the silence, it felt thunderous. The recruits glanced at him, confused, not understanding the tension thrumming through the hallway. "Is there a problem, gentlemen?" Mason asked, his voice controlled, but edged with something they didn't dare identify. "No, sir," one muttered. "We were just joking, sir," another added. Mason's gaze turned colder. It's mocking civilian standard conduct now. The recruit swallowed, paling. "No, Commander, apologies." But Mason wasn't looking at them anymore. His eyes were still on Lena, studying her face as if trying to reconcile it with something long buried in his memory. Lena shifted uncomfortably. She didn't know what to say, didn't know why he looked at her like that. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. Because years ago, before the military, before the deployments, there was a girl who lived down the street from Mason Hale. A quiet girl who loved painting butterflies. A girl who had once helped him when they were both just children, tending to his skinned knee after he'd been shoved off his bike. She'd worn the same tattoo, then butt drawn in pen. A promise she'd told him she'd ink forever when she grew up. He never forgot the girl. But life, war, and loss had a way of swallowing memories. Now here she was, Lena, the girl he'd failed to protect when she disappeared without a word. The recruits scurried away, but the echo of their mockery lingered. Lena stood frozen, unsure, the fluorescent lights flickering softly above them. "You don't have to be afraid of them," Mason said gently. "I'm not," she replied quietly. "Just tired of everything." Her voice cracked slightly, and something inside Mason tightened. He stepped closer, but not too close. Careful, controlled. "That tattoo doesn't mean what I think it means." Lena hesitated. Slowly, she pushed her sleeve up. The butterfly shimmered faintly under the light. "It's the same one," she whispered. Mason exhaled, long, slow, heavy with 1,000 unspoken stories. The hallway seemed to shift. Even the dust in the air felt suspended in curiosity. A few service members watched from a distance, sensing something significant but not understanding it. The silence thickened with anticipation. "Why did you disappear?" he finally asked. Lena swallowed. "My family moved. Suddenly I didn't get to say goodbye, and later, life got complicated." "I didn't think you'd remember. I never forgot," Mason said. The tenderness in his voice created a murmur among the observing soldiers. They weren't used to seeing the commander like this, open, vulnerable, human. But the moment didn't stay quiet for long. The recruits who had mocked her earlier returned, accompanied by a senior officer who demanded to know what happened. When one of the recruits tried to downplay their behavior, Mason's expression darkened, but Lena stepped forward. The hallway fell completely still. "They were unkind," she said softly, "but I don't want them punished. I just want people to be better." Moral tension rippled through the room, Should they be disciplined, humiliated, or forgiven? Lena chose compassion, and that choice changed everything. Mason nodded once firmly. You heard her. Make sure your conduct reflects her kindness, not your ignorance. The recruits flushed but nodded. Yes, sir. They walked away, quieter, humbled. The tension eased, replaced by something warmer, something lighter. Lena watched them go, then turned back to Mason. Thank you. No, he said. Thank you. For reminding all of us what real strength looks like. The sunlight from a nearby window cast golden dust motes around them, turning the corridor soft and dreamlike. For a moment, neither spoke. But then Mason added, voice low, I'm glad you found your way back. Maybe she had. Maybe he had too. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits. And it finds its way back. And as Lena gently traced the outline of her butterfly tattoo, she realized the same symbol they teased her for had become the bridge to an old memory, newly reborn. Thank you for listening, truly. If this story touched your heart, share your thoughts below. And subscribe to Whispered Words for more powerful stories that stay with you long after they end. Your story matters. Let's keep telling them together.